Hello, this video is going to be on wizard quad kiting in the Overthere. I'm a little bit higher level than what you would normally be over here, but I'm just kind of coming back and making a video about doing this for people who don't know about it. Right now I'm located kind of over near the big chasm where there's another zone down there, I forget what it's called, but over here some people call this the bowl. You'll see a lot of bards kiting over here, so I typically pull the mobs to over here, but I come to this little mini bowl over here and do the quadding. That way I don't get in the way of the bards. For people who don't know about this spot, it's pretty much directly across from the ramp to Skyfire. Oh, and the zone down there is Howling Stones, of course. So yeah, you'll see a lot of bards over there swarming, and I just try to stay out of their way. So you could start this area for quadding on a wizard at about level 34. That's when you get your first real good quad spell called Circle of Force. I have better spells now at 51 than I did, but I went ahead and loaded up the old spells that I would have used when I was here. And you can go ahead and do this from levels 34 to about 45, and it's really good XP all the way up into there. It's about 5% per quad, which is pretty insane. And it's killing these things, these little succulents or these little cactuses, right? And the great thing about these cactuses or cacti, is they don't social, and other animals don't like assist on them or anything either. So it's really easy to just run by them and pick and choose which ones you want and not draw a huge train. Even though you're running around all these, this whole just mess of monsters out here. So a couple things you need to do this. You're going to need some sort of speed enhancement. J-boots is fine. You're going to need your staff of temperate flux, which is your pulling staff. It also lowers the element, so your spells hit more often, less resist. And some sort of little cheat code thing, either Crom's X or Veriscope, or some people have the earring, something that will basically put your first spell gem off of cooldown, and I'll show you that when we start quadding. Essentially what you want to do is you want to pull the thornies between probably 30 to 40, 34 to 40. You want to pull thornies only. These spiked right here are a little higher level, and they will resist more than the thornies, and when you get a snare resist, it's kind of annoying. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pull 4 of these thornies back here, and you kind of have to go into third person mode so you can get a good view. I always pull them as I run past them, that way they don't turn around and just smack me immediately. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get all 4 of them the way you want. Like this guy, I just didn't see him. Okay, it's a spiked. Alright, we're going to pull this one right here, and we'll see what this guy is. That's a spike too. I think that's a thorny. Nope. Alright, there's one. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of annoying, but when you don't get resisted and your quad goes according to plan, it's worth the extra 30 seconds it takes to find that thorny. Let me see if I can get him without pulling this. Yeah. Okay, so I've got my 4. There you can see him. Notice I've been kind of dodging the other animals that are aggroable. I've just been dodging them, kind of weaving in and out, and now I'm going to pull them back to my spot. This spot's really nice because I think I've seen like 1 or 2 mobs path near it, but very rarely do you see mobs over there behind those trees. So, and the bards typically go to the big bowl over there. Go ahead and refresh this. So typically what you'll want to have loaded is your Circle of Force, your Bonds of Force, which is your AoE snare, and just like a lower level or like mid-level nuke. Sometimes you'll get a mob that like resists, and he'll have 10% HP, so you'll want to just like throw a nuke on that last one. Today there's no bards over here, so I could have used it, but that's fine. I'll show you the way I did it for about 6 levels. So you just pull them over here, and then you can just kind of use the trees or whatever as reference points to do your circling. Notice the ones that I pulled early on are pretty much already grouped pretty tight, so it's just about getting this guy on here. Obviously, when you're quadding, you want to be careful not to circle too tightly, or you, like if you go hard like this, you run the risk of them tagging you, and then they'll stun you, and then it gets really messy from there. So once you got them grouped up, you just want to run a straightaway for about 8 to 10 seconds, and then you'll want to stop and give it a slight pause before you hit your AoE snare. That way you don't get that spell interrupted. Alright, so there we go. We got 4 successful messages. That's good. So now we have plenty of time to do this. When they're snared, you should have enough time to cast your AoE, hit this guy. Notice it brings that right off a refresh, so you don't even have to wait for a cooldown on that. With the Cromzek Surveyor Scope, it has the telescope effect, so it zooms you in, which is kind of stupid, but oh well. And for this spell, I typically, you know, once I get it off, I hit my Surveyor Scope, I count to about 3. I run about 3 more seconds to just keep that distance between me and the mobs, and before I cast again. So I think the mobs have about, I don't know, 1200, 1300 hit points, so it does take about 6 of these. I'll count them up when we're done here, but I think it takes about 6 to kill them. It's not too bad, and you'll notice my mana isn't much different. Okay, so I think we got 2 dead. Let's see what we're at. This should kill the rest of them. It only takes about half a bar. It doesn't even take that much mana. So there you go. I actually gained XP on that one. It must have been light blue. The loot is pretty trash, but when you're 35, 38, I mean all the way up to like 41, these things will give you like 5 to 6% XP per quad. So that little bit of work I just did would have given me 5%, which is pretty crazy. Once you hit about 40 to 41, some of these thornies start to go light blue, so you'll start to then pull the spiked. And with the spiked, they're a little bit higher level and they're a little bit more resistant. So you'll just make sure you really want to hit them with that. You want to hit each one with this Staff of Temperate Flux, because sometimes they'll resist it. You got to hit them with it again. But anyway, so this video was, on wizard quadding. You could do this spot from 34 all the way up to about 45 on those spike succulents before moving on to the next spot, which is, for me, blood gills, and I'll make another video showcasing that next.